Greetings! I would like to take you to a journey that many find important and even crucial for the future of our planet and its people.
What is a protected area? When we think of protected areas, we often think of majestic landscapes and large animals. Every country in the world possesses protected areas, and many offer the iconic images as the face of the country itself.
But protected areas are more than images for postcards. They are the lungs of countries, the sources of fresh water, the repository of biological and cultural diversity. They are places for sanity, spiritual presence, recreation. They provide food and medicine to people, and they prevent disaster, which is a fundamental function today in face of climate change.
Something we have clearly understood since the beginning of the new millennium is that for the conservation of nature and survival of people in our planet, we do not need only the protected areas that are set aside by the government for the purpose of conservation. Equally important than those areas are the areas that are conserved by other actors in society. There could be indigenous people, local community, private landowners or NGOs. There are actually plenty of people who voluntarily care about land, water and natural resources. When they can take decisions about what to do with them, those decisions are appropriate. They keep some areas secluded and untouched. They utilize resources in careful ways to be able to continue to use them tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. And they restore environments to a good state of productivity and diversity. For instance, they replant mangroves. They provide water where water has been taken away. They eradicate invasive plants, allow animals to repopulate specific areas.
Surprising as it may be, this understanding is relatively new. For most of the last century, it was not clear to people that the models of development adapted in the world were progressively destroying the diversity of life and culture. And even those who cared about that, the so-called conservationists, thought that the governments could take care of the problem if they simply set aside enough lands as protected areas.
Now we know that this is not enough. We need state governments to declare and support protected areas. But we need more than that. We need the engagement of the whole society for conservation.
Every 10 years, people from all around the world who care about these issues are gathering at the World Park Congress. The director of the World Park Congress Sydney 2014 is Trevor Sandwith. He is a native of South Africa and works at the International Union for the Conservation of Nature in Switzerland. Trevor, tell us about the World Park Congress. What is it?
Well, I was lucky enough to be part of the last World Parks Congress, which was in Durban in South Africa, where I actually went to university. It's a meeting that we have just once every 10 years, bringing together practitioners from all over the world, from 160 different countries. The Congress is a unique event. It's not governed by conventions, it's not governed by a particular constitution of an organization or a country. We can talk freely about the issues that really matter once every 10 years.
And how is it organized?
What we have to do when we organize the meeting is draw consensus from all of those people about what are the most important topics. So the first issue is figuring out what's the direction that we're going in, and then dividing up the work, if you like. So this time in Sydney, we want to show how vibrant, resilient, protected areas that are well governed actually help society address the challenges that the world is facing.
Yo tuve la oportunidad de participar en el Congreso Mundial de Parques en Sydney y una de las cosas que me resultaron más interesantes es que hubiese un stream, una parte del Congreso dedicado exclusivamente a los temas de gobernanza. Y bueno, los temas de gobernanza es algo relativamente reciente, hasta hace unos años no se oía hablar de ello, siempre se ha hablado mucho de gestión y esos son aspectos que se ha trabajado mucho, pero la gobernanza siempre se había dejado, no se le había dado la importancia que yo creo que tiene. Entonces, bueno, fue muy interesante para mí el participar, conocí a mucha gente de muchos otros países y otros de los 5 continentes que estaban realizando, bueno, trabajando e involucrados en proyectos sobre gobernanzas de áreas protegidas que me parecieron muy enriquecedores y muy interesantes. Mucha gente no entiende lo que es la gobernanza porque es un término que no es sencillo, hay quien lo considera incluso un poco peligroso o que abre puertas que no se sabe muy bien a dónde pueden llevar, pero mucha otra gente cada vez más se le está dando el valor que tiene, sobre todo si queremos obtener resultados de conservación. Entonces se habla tanto de gobernanza, pero la clave es ¿qué es la gobernanza?
The simplest way of understanding governance is to consider who is taking decisions and how those decisions are taken. Now, if you have this in mind and you think about history, you might imagine that governance is simply a matter of power, might, violence at times. You think about all the armies that invaded other countries and started cutting trees or damming rivers or doing whatever they wanted, really, because they could, because they had the power to do whatever they wanted. So governance is about power, sometimes legal with authority and responsibility, sometimes just the power in itself. But this is not the whole story, because together with the might and the power, we have also to take into consideration the fact that people understand nature, that people develop through time knowledge, capacities, skills, and those become, I would say, even more important than might to define what people do with their resources themselves, with land and water. So consider that governance is a mixture of both might and the capacity to enforce decisions, and all the phenomena that go under the basket that we call culture, the capacities we have as people, not just as individuals, but as people, to interact in a complex but successful way with nature. When people care about nature, when they know what they are doing, they are capable of amazing results. They are capable of actually achieving what no power can achieve.
Indigenous peoples and local communities are at the forefront of governance for conservation because they developed their governance institutions through centuries of direct dependence on nature for their very survival. These institutions learn to respond to the vagaries of climate, learn to manage conflicts, learn to meet the changing needs of people with very little chance for error. The accumulated knowledge and wisdom of these communities and these indigenous peoples actually exhibits itself not only in the management of nature, but also in the way they manage the relationships among peoples.
So governance is a political, cultural and spiritual phenomenon, but it's also a legal phenomenon, is it not?
Los sistemas legales son fundamentales para el fortalecimiento de la gobernanza y en general para la conservación de la biodiversidad. Indudablemente resulta esencial que reconozcamos cada vez más que estos estados han jugado roles no solo para fortalecer sus acciones dentro del propio andamiaje institucional de las diferentes agencias de gobierno, dentro de los municipios o dentro de las agencias regionales que cada uno de los países tiene. También ha sido instrumental en poder establecer relaciones entre estados, establecer relaciones con otros sectores que son también importantísimos a la hora de establecer políticas y estrategias que nos lleven a que la conservación no solo sea una política que manejen los diferentes ministerios de ambiente, sino que también sea transversalizada hacia los demás sectores reproductivos, de salud, de agricultura, y por eso es muy importante que tengamos cada vez más en cuenta que estos esfuerzos institucionales y que la gobernanza desde el gobierno es clave para poder lograr diferentes logros a diferentes niveles.
Well, you know, back in 2003 in Durban, at the World Parks Congress, we recognized that there were at least 4 governance types that needed to be supported, enabled, recognized by countries of the world. This was, of course, governance by government, which everybody knew by then, governance by private parties, governance by indigenous peoples and local communities, and shared governance amongst these. But unfortunately, despite this global policy level support and recognition, this hasn't necessarily translated down on the ground in many countries where they don't have policies yet for this, or even sometimes where they do, these policies are not necessarily appropriate or not effectively implemented.
Estos estados, por supuesto, tienen unas complicaciones muchas veces en la lógica y en la dinámica propia de su actividad. Sin embargo, quienes están allí, quienes realmente dominan el territorio porque están ejerciendo su función y su misión institucional, son quienes nos pueden dar cuenta de que la labor de la conservación allí en campo es importantísima y el rol y sobre todo el fortalecimiento y esa capacidad que tienen estos estados de podernos dar las herramientas para fortalecer, para avanzar en ciertos procesos, pues debe ser cada vez más reconocida y más fortalecida. Es gratificante, es maravilloso cuando contamos con políticas que nos ayudan a llevar a que estas acciones sean cada vez más grandes y mucho más importantes a nivel del terreno.
For us indigenous people, conserving our territory goes well beyond conserving nature. It is a matter of livelihood, collective rights and responsibility, self-determination and identity. We conserve forest, water, animals and marine creatures for centuries. We have unique knowledge, capacity and institution, but too often we are not allowed to use them to govern and conserve our territory. All over the world, governments impose upon us mining, oil and gas operation, mega infrastructure, industrial scale agriculture and fishery, and the toxic and the nuclear waste, destroying our land, polluting our water.
Akman so dangi Pangino Taiwan Sevo do Pongsunam na Arluta Kusuri.
Tusya Kusuri.
Nasok kanaktung kaimin pisyal mas kau paka iskuda-kudacin.
Indigenous Taiwan.
Today! Today!
Esta lucha y esta defensa por los recursos naturales en las áreas protegidas, por un uso sostenible de los recursos naturales y por hacer frente a las actividades más destructivas del medio, se está dando también en países, en continentes como Europa, por parte de las comunidades locales. Esto, por ejemplo, hay muchos casos en el Ártico, desde las comunidades pastoriles de Siberia, pescadores de Finlandia. En los países mediterráneos también se está trabajando muy fuerte en este tema. Y yo, por ejemplo, soy de España y en España las comunidades locales que gestionan sobre todo los comunes, que pueden ser bosques comunales, zonas de pesca, pastos de alta montaña, cada vez están más organizadas a nivel nacional y a nivel europeo para defender este uso tradicional que llevan haciendo sus antepasados durante siglos, en base a normas consuetudinarias, para que los comunes, el sistema comunal de gestión, que ha dado tan buenos resultados a nivel de conservación de la biodiversidad, se sigan manteniendo y que su sistema de gobernanza, que es el verdadero motor de estos éxitos de conservación, no desaparezca.
But of course, what is true for local communities is doubly true for indigenous peoples.
In the Philippines, the struggle of indigenous peoples to protect their territories is at the forefront of conservation, and numerous forms of struggles are happening and expanding as we speak. Communities organize and mobilize themselves against large-scale mining, palm oil expansion, and huge dams. Our traditional governance systems and territories evolved through history of indigenous activity to conserve nature and culture. These systems are equated with life principles as a people and as a community. It is for this reason that as indigenous peoples and local communities, we wish our territories free from any type of destructive development.
Mais les heures du patrimoine conservées par nous, peuples autochtones et communautés locales, doivent être prises en compte. C'est-à-dire quoi? C'est-à-dire la reconnaissance à la fois de nos droits et nos responsabilités collectives. Nos responsabilités collectives sur la terre, l'eau et les ressources naturelles. Donc notre capacité à les conserver depuis des temps immémoriaux, depuis les temps de nos ancêtres. Notre capacité de les conserver et de les protéger, c'est notre terre-mère. Ce que nous voulons dire est qu'il faut qu'on diversifie les formes de gouvernance. Les formes de gouvernance de ces ressources naturelles et de la biodiversité. On ne peut pas être figé sur une seule forme classique qui ne reconnaît pas les rôles et les droits et la responsabilité historique les capacités des peuples autochtones à conserver toutes ces ressources naturelles que vous voyez avec son état actuel satisfaisant.
La lutte pour la conservation ne se limite pas au milieu terrestre. Dans le milieu marin et côtier, les communautés initient de nouveaux modèles de gouvernance qui aboutissent à la conservation, mais aussi à l'utilisation durable des ressources halieutiques et à la souveraineté alimentaire. Nos 8 communautés villageoises en Casamance au Sénégal en sont un exemple. Nous avons établi notre propre aire de patrimoine communautaire que nous appelons Kawana. Et nous avons restauré nos pêcheries locales. Maintenant, nous avons de plus en plus de poissons dans nos filets et nous sommes devenus plus forts. Ensemble, nous avons même réussi à sauver notre forêt locale qui était menacée par un projet de carbonisation. Et grâce à notre solidarité, nous avons beaucoup appris.
The understanding of marine and coastal environments is evolving rapidly. For instance, we now realize that for marine conservation we cannot rely on protected areas alone. We have to look at other really important issues, like human rights and culture, like how to draw on local and traditional knowledge, and how we can bring communities and scientists and other stakeholders together in the co-production of new knowledge about these areas. We also have to look at important issues like food security and food sovereignty, eliminating poverty and taking steps to promote gender equity. But perhaps most of all, we have to look at how communities can participate in governance at all levels.
Pour beaucoup d'entre nous, la qualité de la gouvernance, ou ce que nous appelons la bonne gouvernance, est aussi un élément fondamental. Quand on prend des décisions qui affectent la nature, l'environnement ou les autres personnes, il est essentiel de respecter les principes de la bonne gouvernance, tels que la légitimité, le devoir de rendre compte, la performance, l'équité et le respect des droits. Alors, la sécurisation foncière devient un élément fondamental, en particulier les droits collectifs sur la terre, l'eau et les ressources naturelles, qui sont des éléments fondamentaux pour la génération future et sont donc une priorité globale de conservation.
There are other less immediately understandable but more profound issues that have to do with governance. Those have to do with governance vitality. Vitality expresses the capacity to link with the society in such a way to receive its support. Vitality means to be adaptable and flexible, innovative and creative, to learn from previous experience, to renew itself as a living system, and to respond positively to change by supporting new laws and initiatives. Vitality has to do with wisdom, being aware and respectful to history, and integrating knowledge from different cultures. And it has to do with true empowerment and the capacity to be responsible in effective ways.
Truly, the concept of governance is extremely rich, and its diversity, quality and vitality has been explored in depth in the stream of governance at the World Parks Congress in Sydney and in the event that took place before and after it. Are you curious to see what happened in the enchanting Australia? Part 2 of this film will take you right there.
Maliyem benna komika amode mauke. Maliyem sente femina ampana sentela Allahuya. Maliyem benna komika amode mauke. Maliyem sente femina ampana sentela Allahuya. Itara malila bade nyame. Allahuya. Itara malila sinja bingi. Allahuya. Itara malila horonya bingi. Allahuya. Itara malinya kelenya bingi.